Okay, welcome everyone. I see the numbers growing per usual. Up over 100 at this point. Give it another minute or two. Okay, 200. Good day, Team Ethos. Hello, Asheville. Hi, Amanda. Okay, 260. Numbers are slowing down a little bit. Give it another few seconds, and then we'll launch in. All right, Langley, Canada. Dr. Welch, snowy Boston. Happy Tuesday. Hey, it's Taco Tuesday at my house today, so it is a happy Tuesday. All right, up over 300. I think we will get started. So good morning, good afternoon. Happy Valentine's Day Eve, which may serve as a subtle reminder for those of you who still need to do some shopping for that special someone in your life. However, not a license to do online shopping during our action-packed program that we have for you today. And it's worth knowing that we actually did push back the time of the town halls a bit, just a bit, to better accommodate all of our time zones. So our Hawaii hospital is here with us today, for example. So give a shout out if anyone from there is on, and welcome. And so we'll jump right into it. If we can just flip ahead a couple of briefly look at the agenda. All right, everyone is committed that to memory. And then we will go to our enriching live story. So I'm excited to share a video of boarded surgeons, Dr. Heather Towle-Millard and Dr. Ralph Millard from Vesh, Wichita, and their work with a local zoo to remove a tumor from an endangered tiger. And so without further ado, let's roll the film.
So Natasha is our 10-year-old female Amur tiger, and she actually, fun fact, she was a cub when I started working here, so I got to give her her very first vaccines. So we have a lengthy history together. We did a workup on her 2 years ago, and we found a little mass in her abdomen, and it was very small, and it was hard to tell if it was actually a mass or if it was her ovary. So we were concerned that she might have a cystic ovary, and that's not something that you just jump right into with tigers. You know, she's an endangered species, so we don't just go right to surgery. Her keepers are very good at training her, excellent at training her actually, and so we were able to get blood work on her consistently. We're actually able to do abdominal ultrasounds on her through behavioral restraint. So she would lay down in a chute, and I would actually be able to put a probe on her and look in her abdomen and see if I can see any abnormalities. And that mass that was in her abdomen was growing very slowly, but it was still getting bigger. And it continued to grow, and then finally it got to the point where it was either we needed to breed her because she was getting older, she's 10 years old now, or we needed to do something with this mass. So we decided to bring in Heather and Ralph Millard. They are boarded small animal surgeons, and they actually work out of Vesh, the Veterinary Emergency and Specialty Hospital, which is actually conveniently right across the street. They perform surgeries, difficult surgeries on small animals in the Wichita area, and they would be the best candidates to come in and perform the surgery because that's what they do. That's their specialty. So even though it is an exotic or zoo animal, it is essentially a very, very large cat, which they do surgery on every day. So they came in, we had a team of, it felt like 50 people. They had their own team of surgical assistants. We had our large team of 3 veterinarians, 3 technicians, and then numerous husbandry staff. So it was a very, very large effort. And even though she was a large cat, still wasn't enough room around the table for everybody to be up close with her. So we focused, all of our focus was on the anesthesia and making sure she was doing well. And then they focused on the abdominal exploratory. So their team, basically when we said we were ready, their team basically swooped in and they were able to, you know, clip her up and get a surgical prep going and everything very quickly. And then they were able to perform the surgery way quicker than I was expecting, which is great. So because she's an endangered species, she's a very important breeder for the tigers. We went in with hopes that we wouldn't have to spay her. Unfortunately, it was so tightly adhered to her ovary that it did too much damage to that ovary, and we were afraid that we weren't going to be able to excise or pull away the mass from the ovarian tissue, and that would lead to complications post-op and then possibly the mass coming back. So we just decided to just take the ovary and take the reproductive tract. For me personally, the biggest part of this whole journey that we were on was doing best for the animal. And we had to really, you know, think about what's best for the species and think about that when we were talking about her reproductive tract. We had several meetings about it and we talked to the SSP over and over and over again of what the outcome could be or what the possible outcome could be, and if we're doing best for the species or if we're doing best by Natasha. And we decided to do best by Natasha.
What a wonderful story. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's just awesome. Very lucky kitty to be in the care of our VESH doctors. So now we're going to go on to the business updates, and I have the distinct pleasure today of introducing our first Greenfield de novo of 2004. Can you advance that slide for me? Thank you. So today we introduce Alpharetta Veterinary Specialty and Emergency in Georgia. This is a 20,000 square foot hospital servicing their community with emergency care, internal medicine, advanced surgery, and with partnership with Bush Veterinary Neurology Services that was located in Woodstock, Georgia. They now have a full neurology partnership. This is just an amazing hospital. I want to thank everybody who pushed this over the finish line. And under the direction of Adriana Ventura and Dr. Michael DeChico, they opened their doors on January 29th and have already seen 70 patients, nearly 70 patients so far. One of their very first patients wrote this review that I want to share with everybody. Even though they had just opened their doors minutes before my call needing emergent specialty help for my very sick cat, the entire team at AVSC sprang into action with unparalleled care and compassion. They addressed all of my concerns and kept me updated through the entire process. Thank you from the bottom of my and Bob's furry heart. P.S. Don't let their newness fool you. Their expertise and level of care are unmatched. They hit the ground running, or should I say purring, and have set the bar very high for emergency veterinary care. And another review called out all of the nurses and Dr. DeChico specifically in their review. So you're opening to great success. You and Bush will do wonderful things for the community. And again, thank you to everyone across the organization that helped make this a possibility. And with that, I'll turn it over to Gerald Bowles for a GMAP success story.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Daryl Bowles. I am the division leader for Group 3, located in Indianapolis, Indiana. I have the pleasure of supporting the hospitals in Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So today I have the pleasure of highlighting Metropolitan Veterinary Hospital on their charge capture program. This hospital is located in Cleveland, Ohio, and is led by Mr. Halbon, who's the CEO, and also Dr. Matt Erzman, who is the medical director. There's currently 2 locations in this area, and they produce roughly $67 million in revenue, and they support over 350 employees. So just a quick overview, met with the team last year in Q2 of 2023 as GMAP was up and rolling. We talked about what can we do to provide better technical support and also improve charge capture within the hospitals, and also make sure that we're supporting our team. So Matt and Hal got together, they met with peers within the group, they met with each other, and they created a KPI program with the doctors. So this would give them the opportunity not only to have great partnership, but a way to measure great medicine. And as you can see on the slide, they focused on 3 main buckets: technical support, making sure that we have the right amount of veterinary nurses with the doctors, and then also this gave the doctors to understand the impact to their team. Also, medical records and workflow efficiency, looking at physical plant, what could we do to make the departments and areas more efficient, and then really practicing the best medicine as possible, and also making sure invoices were accurate. So what came of that was a KPI dashboard that they created, and that they share this with their doctors. And really this tool is used to give perspective on how well that they are performing. So there's an example of fast scans percentage. You can tell here the doctor highlighted in red had about a 14% fast scans percentage. And this is given on a doctor's scheduled shift for a particular month. And then they were able to see how they performed with other doctors, and they gave them the opportunity to circle back with their team. Since then, they've had the opportunity to create a best demonstrated practice video that is currently in the GMAP library. I highly recommend that you all take the opportunity to review it. And then also, they have since then been removed from the bottom 30 within GMAP as well. So again, I would like to appreciate Matt and Hal and the Metro team with their focus on GMAP. And now I'm going to pass it on to Chris Wilkins.
Hi, everybody. Great to be with you all. So I'm going to share a few talent acquisition metrics. So firstly, for January of 2024, we hired 30.5 doctors. Where did the 0.5 come from, you ask? And very simply, for accounting purposes this year, we're counting 2 part-time fills as 1 full-time fill. And we actually had 3 part-time fills in January. Looking back to last year, in 2023, we hired 378 full-time doctors, with 242 of those being ER fills and 136 being specialty fills. So a truly great accomplishment. You know, I've always said since I joined that it truly does take a village to be successful in talent acquisition, and this wouldn't have been possible without all the help and support and partnership from the hospital teams, from field operations, from our marketing colleagues, and everyone else that was involved in the hiring process. So sincerely, you know, thank you to everyone for all your support and help. One other, you know, metric that, you know, makes sense to show you all is that, you know, we were able to hire 489 total doctors last year. And that does include, you know, promotions, transfers, MDs, part-time, locum, per diem, relief doctors. But a great accomplishment. You know, when I look back to, you know, 3 years ago, we hired just over 106 doctors, you know, for the entire organization. So significant growth over the last several years. Moving on to our house officer and campus teams. Last fall, we hosted 31 in-person house officer events, and we had over 700 participants, which is record-breaking attendance. And, you know, kudos to the house officer team. They're extremely critical to doctor recruiting. And in fact, as the stat shows, 44% of our total full-time hires are residents. So, you know, super integral to everything that we do. We also launched 2 ambassador programs, and in the fall of last year, we conducted multiple career fairs, lunch and learns, and social events for students at 13 universities. So very active on campus as well. And last but not least, we wanted to highlight the hospital leadership recruitment team who continue to do an amazing job. They filled 4 leadership roles in January, which included 2 HDs. And last year they filled 62 total roles. And those numbers included 21 hospital directors and 6 OSMs. So, a lot of great work being done across the entire talent acquisition organization. Thanks very much for listening, and I'll now pass you on to Meredith Caggiano.
Thanks so much, Chris. I wanted to take a minute to give everybody a quick update on our 23 performance, as well as how we are starting off the year for 2024. I think as everybody on this call is well aware, we saw 2023 kick off with some pretty strong industry headwinds, and that was coupled with what some might call pretty high budgetary expectations for our performance. And the year kicked off, I think, a little bumpy for lots of our hospitals, as well as some of our support functions. But I think the teams all worked extremely hard to deliver against those budgets while working against some of those headwinds. And we were able to show a lot of continuous improvement throughout the year, especially in the second half, as we focused on things like GMAP, hospital cultures, and continued investments in very strategic initiatives to help drive improved performance at those hospitals. This ultimately allowed us to end the year in 2023 with almost $1.8 billion in revenue for the year and $283 million in EBITDA. And this was attributable to over 2.1 million visits that we saw across our portfolio of hospitals. We unfortunately are still facing some of those broader industry headwinds, and we've seen continued decline in our visit volume. But even with that, our hospitals have been able to outperform our January budget from a top-line perspective by almost $2 million. And this is no small feat at all. I think the teams have been working very hard to understand doctor capacity, the visits that we're seeing on a daily basis, working really against challenging labor markets, and focusing on our labor management practices. In addition to beating our revenue budget, we were able to beat our EBITDA budget for the year. And this is partly due to a resetting of our expectations based on the last 12 months to create what we feel is a realistic goal in regards to both our top line growth, but also pushing ourselves to improve the efficiency at which we operate our hospitals. The teams have been very focused on GMAP as well as labor management practices, and that not only led to us beating our EBITDA target for January, but also led to us improving our bottom line margin by almost 385 basis points, which is just a absolutely drastic and remarkable improvement. And I think it's something that we all should be really excited about and looking forward to how we continue that success for the remainder of 2024. I will pass it on to Shruti.
Thanks, Meredith. Hello, everyone. I wanted to just take a few minutes to introduce myself and talk to you all about the procurement and supply chain team. So if we can move to the next slide. So I joined Ethos at the end of November 2023, and I've been with the team for a little over 2 months. And prior to Ethos, I have managed both direct and indirect procurement over a decade across a number of different industries in the pharmaceutical, energy, and scientific lab supply space. I live on the East Coast, about 45 minutes outside of Philadelphia, by a small town known as Kennett Square. Fun fact about Kennett Square, it is known as the mushroom capital of the world because almost 50% of all of the mushrooms in the United States are actually grown in this area. So if you like mushrooms, this is a place for you. I live with my husband, Dave, who you can see a picture of on the right-hand side from our wedding in India. I have 2 daughters who are 5. The 5-year-old, her name's Aria, and Sophia, who's 20 months old. And our 8-year-old Brittany Ammo, as you can see, he's really aged since having his human sisters. I'm currently finishing up my MBA at Villanova University, and in the very, very limited spare time that I have, I like to cook with my kids and spend time exploring some of our local wineries and farms in the area. Next slide. Thank you. And on this slide here, I just want to quickly hit on our team name and purpose. So depending on the organization that you've been a part of, you might have heard the team previously referred to as the category management team or indirect procurement. But moving forward, all those functions will be housed under the procurement and supply chain team. Our purpose is to drive strategic sourcing, risk mitigation, vendor relationship management, and supply chain best practices to enable world-class patient care. And by doing so, achieving a direct impact on our P&Ls. Now, I'm sure you're all wondering what this means and how we're driving value for the hospitals, as well as the support center. And this, I think, can be best explained by the 4 main topics that you see here. So to drive strategic sourcing, we're essentially purchasing high quality goods and services at the best possible value at the right time. By aligning procurement decisions and the organizational goals, we'll be able to optimize and enhance overall efficiency for the organization. With risk mitigation, we're ensuring that suppliers are thoroughly vetted prior to entering into a contract with them. An example of such an assessment can be likened to the IT cybersecurity risk assessments that we sometimes run on our IT suppliers that we're looking to do business with. With this activity, we can minimize disruptions to the hospital and enable contingency planning, which really allows us to be able to respond to any potential supply challenges that we might encounter. Next, building and nurturing strong relationships with our suppliers through a structured vendor relationship management program is critical in creating long-term partnerships and mutually beneficial relationships with our suppliers. And finally, developing and sharing supply chain best practices around inventory management, which will enable us to optimize costs, reduce risk, and enhance overall inventory efficiency, which are essential in contributing to the financial success of the organization. Next slide, please. On this slide here, I just want to recap our journey, where we are today and where we're headed. Today, we're supporting both our hospitals and support centers through strategic sourcing activities that include supplier negotiations, risk management, contracting, and escalation of supplier issues. The team also supports the inventory management process at some of the legacy sites. Now, in our future state, we're going to be looking to do all those things and more. We'll be working closely with the support center teams and the sites and ops to ensure that you're with us every step of the way as we conduct some of the sourcing activities and roll out our contracts. We're working to make the shift from tactical one-off sourcing to enterprise-wide activities that'll maximize impact. We're also looking to implement procure-to-pay systems in Oracle, as well as a contract management tool, which will really help standardize our processes. We're also looking to document and scale our inventory solutions, which I know is of utmost importance, and best practices as we create a defined sourcing policy that will help provide clarity on the process. We're also looking to drive innovation through a formal supplier pilot program that will create a process around implementing new suppliers and their proposed solutions. Next slide, please. And finally, I want to introduce my amazing team under the procurement and supply chain organization. I wanted to put some pictures in here so we could put faces to names. So Regina and Giselle, along with a number of our amazing supply chain coordinators at the sites, manage the supply chain. Tim and Suzanne manage direct procurement and some of the supply chain activities as well. Todd on my team currently manages indirect procurement, and Jen manages IT procurement. You can also see that we have 3 open roles that we're currently looking to fill, which will complete our team. So with that, I would like to thank you for your time on the town hall today. And on behalf of me and my team, I cannot express how excited we are to partner with all of you and build something amazing. Please feel free to reach out to me or anyone on my team with any questions, or if you'd like to know more about us, or just meet me in person. And with that, I'd like to pass it over to Brandon for the team leads update.
Great, thanks, Shruti. So today, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about a meeting that the team leads had in Dallas a few weeks back. The team leads are around 80 cross-functional leaders from the support center. That includes the field ops team, plus leaders from all of the different functions that support our hospitals. And the team gets together on a monthly basis virtually to talk about key projects or initiatives impacting our hospitals and support center. But once a year, we get together in person. And we had a pretty extensive session. We talked about how we can better collaborate with each other and our hospital teams to be a more effective team overall, using a process called high performing teams. So we did a bunch of workshops around that. We also talked about what our 2024 priorities and initiatives are, which we'll discuss in a little bit more detail in the next slide. We talked about making sure that we continue to be laser focused on the reason that all of us are here, which is supporting our hospitals, so that our hospital teams can take care of pets and their parents. And then we also talked a little bit about ethos culture and what that means for us in support center and how that aligns with all of the individual hospital cultures across our ethos network. And then I'm going to hand it over to Tyler Stroop to talk a little bit more in depth about our priorities and the process that we went through to pick initiatives to focus on for the year.
Great. Thank you, Brandon. Good morning and afternoon, everybody. So as Brandon mentioned, we spent a good amount of time during the team leads meeting creating awareness and alignment around the key priorities for Ethos in 2024. With so many areas of need and opportunity in front of us, it's critical that we're very intentional in what we choose to prioritize to ensure that these priorities help us further the vision and mission of Ethos, support the strategic objectives of our organization, and are properly resourced within and across our teams as we deliver great care and service to you. In order to achieve this, we went through an extensive process over the past few months where our team leads identified and then defined potential priorities for the year, which we then narrowed down in categories into three main categories, which you can see here on the left side of the slide. I'll go into a little bit more detail on what those three priorities are, and then spend some time on some of the strategic priorities, which you see there on the right side of the slide in a little bit more detail. So the first priority is the delivery of outstanding medical and operational excellence through exceptional service. In short, this is the support that our teams provide to enable all of our hospital teams to deliver best-in-class patient care and client service. Examples of this include our talent acquisition team, helping with the recruitment of doctors, which Chris shared some really great results from 2023 with you earlier, or our HR business partner supporting the employee relations needs of our hospital teams. This support is absolutely core to delivering great service to our hospitals, clients, and patients, and where our teams will spend the majority of their time, as they do in many years or in most years in 2024. Our second priority is making investments in foundational capabilities that will position Ethos for sustainable and long-term success. So these focus areas can range from core operational elements like employee retention and the continued evolution of medical leadership within Ethos, to core system and organizational readiness initiatives such as Project Artemis, which Shane will speak to a little bit more in detail later in the call, and the finalization of the teams and the structure of the teams that are now fully dedicated to Ethos that were historically shared in our old format. So those are sort of the two initial areas. The third area that I want to speak to, the third priority, where you see the detail on the right, is what we call our strategic initiatives. And these are the initiatives that will help our hospitals and support teams really further differentiate Ethos in pursuit of our vision of revolutionizing veterinary medicine. So a few examples to call out here that you can see in the list: expanding our partnership with Ethos Discovery. So this would be to provide all of our hospitals with access to de novo clinical research, research-focused development opportunities for doctors, as well as research mentorship for all of our house officers. Another example is the expansion of our internal radiologist network, and this would be to enable high-quality interpretation and service of Ethos hospital network images by Ethos radiologists. So these are just a couple of really exciting areas that we're excited to prioritize and bring to all of you in 2024. It's the balance of these three priorities that will ensure that we're focused on the needs of our hospitals and support teams both today as well as the future as we revolutionize veterinary medicine together. Now, this is a very high-level summary, I understand, and I'm sure you have a lot of questions. We will be providing you with access to much more information on these priorities and progress throughout the year in forums such as this town hall, the monthly newsletter, and on GoFetch. So more to come. We want to make sure that you have visibility into where we're focused and what it means for you in the hospitals and in the support center. So much more to come. If you do have questions in the interim, please feel free to reach out to your field leaders, and they will connect us or you with the right person to get more information. So thank you, and passing it back to you, Brandon.
Great, thanks, Tyler. I think we're all excited to have probably a lot more medicine and hospital care team focused initiatives this year than we have in the past, and that shows the investment that we're making there. One of the other areas that we spent a fair amount of time on at the team leads offsite in Dallas was how we can do a better job of supporting hospital teams. And that took shape in two forms. So one is we did a survey of our hospital leaders last fall. And every support function team has reviewed those and put together action plans for how we can improve the services offered. At Team Leads, we spent time going through those plans in a little bit more detail, making sure that the details get finalized, and also checking in on the progress against some of them with the field ops team. And the other area that we spent time thinking or talking about was determining how we can make it as clear as possible for our hospital teams about what the services are they should expect from each team. So do all of our HDs and MDs know what services they can expect from the talent acquisition team as it relates to technician talent identification, as an example, or from the legal team or procurement. So a lot of work on being as specific and clear as possible around what those services are and what that means also from a quality and timeliness perspective. So this month, we are going to be communicating out the details on both the action plans from the support center survey, as well as the service definitions for each function. And we'll plan on doing regular highlights of those as well throughout the year on newsletters, but also Go Fetch and other channels as relevant. And to make sure that we can continue that improvement and progress in how we support our teams, we're also going to be doing some planning for another support center survey coming up later this spring. The intent will be to continue to do those 2 per year, with the expectation that the quality we provide increases, and that'll be reflected in the scores that you can see on the left side. All right, another meeting related topic. We've got our annual meeting coming up. So I hope all of our hospital teams on the call are excited about that. We will be doing this meeting in early May, and we have decided on a location, which is going to be Tucson, Arizona, at a wonderful Hilton resort that you can see a photo of here on the right side. The meeting is going to start on Monday evening on May 6th and go through Tuesday morning on May 9. The 2.5 days that we will spend together will be focused on medical and operational educational content, culture building activities, support center service breakouts, and lots of opportunities for everyone to network with their site and support center teams. The official calendar invites will be coming out later this week, and there'll be a formal registration email coming out in the next few weeks as well. We're excited to see our hospital leadership teams there and representation from our support center functions as well in person. And with that, I'm going to pass things over to Shannon Gibbons to talk to us about our doctor exit survey.
Hi, everybody. I am here to talk about our exit survey that we're going to be rolling out this month. If you want to go to the next slide. Why we're doing it is we really want to understand why doctors have decided to leave and ensure we're delivering on our value proposition. We're going to allow our DVMs to easily and confidentially provide feedback about their experience with Ethos. And then we're going to take that data and help inform our strategy moving forward on what we need to keep doing and continue doing in order to keep our doctors and retain our veterinary staff. So this is going to be a new process that we're going to be rolling out. We're going to be partnering with the operations team on this. But the key to this success of this exit survey is to let HR know as soon as a DVM has resigned. And what I mean by that is if you get someone's letter of resignation or they've told you they formally resigned, don't wait until they leave. Let us know right away. It is true that people are more likely to complete an exit survey while they're still employed versus when they leave. And so basically our ask is going to be when a resignation happens that hospital directors inform the HRBP that a DVM has resigned. The DVM will then receive a notification that we're asking them to do a 5 to 7 minute exit survey. They'll have a choice of getting it deployed. It'll come via text message if they want to do it directly on their phone or through their computer. And then the HRBPs will be looking at the data and looking for responses and trends to be able to share out. And reporting will be sent, and then we're going to use that data to help build up some retention strategies. One thing I just want to point out on the survey is that the data will only be shared in aggregate, meaning no one will see individual responses. So it's a truly great way to capture feedback and keep some confidentiality around it. And the different questions that the survey is going to ask, this is going to be about how long they've considered leaving, what do they like the most and least about working, and if they'd recommend Ethos is a great place to work. So we'll have different questions, different ways to try and capture both the good and the bad feedback that they may have for us. So what are our next steps? Our HRBPs are going to work with operations on the best process for soliciting feedback. I just saw a chat comment that the DLs need to be included in that as well. So we will work on a distribution list that will have that. HR will send the survey to the DVMs who have resigned in the last 60 days to see if we can get some feedback from those who left prior to us launching the survey. And then we're going to monitor participation and make changes to the survey as needed. So if it's, we're getting low participation or we're finding the questions aren't working, we'll continue to monitor. And then what we need from all of you is just timely notification when a DVM is leaving, like I mentioned before. Just informing DVMs if they work for you that a survey will be coming so they know about this process. And then obviously, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to your HRBP or myself or Kristen Baker, anyone on the HR team. And with that, I just want to thank you, and I will pass it on to Shane, who's going to talk about the Artemis project.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Shannon. So great. If we could advance. Okay, so thank you so much for the time and great to see you all again. I just got a quick hit on Project Artemis and what is coming up over the next couple of months. So as many on the call have been a part of, Ceridian Dayforce from a deployment perspective is rolling. This is our single source for people data, scheduling, time attendance, and payroll. And we're moving towards a March deployment for 28 Ethos sites, all within the legacy NVA Spec ER family. So super proud of this, and huge thank you to all of the sites that have participated in this. In addition, also huge thank you to all of the other Spec ER sites that have done work to make it to this point. We are committed to getting all of Ethos up and running on this system. And these 28 are going to be a great learning opportunity for us to deploy to the rest of the sites. So some specifics here: self-service training for sites deployed last week on February 5th, and instructor-led training is going to come and credentials will come in early March. Site leaders have about 3 to 4 hours of training to do, with employees about 1 to 1.5 hours. Overachievers, of course, can take more training if they want to, but this is sort of the bare minimum. And what we've seen over the last just few days is about 10% of the population has already taken their training. So huge kudos to that. And we're looking forward to seeing more progress on that front. I did want to also call out Alana Day. I don't know if you're on the call right now, but your group is in the lead. It's not a competition, but maybe it is. So please continue to push everybody to take that training. in a timely manner. First punch is set for March 17th, so we've got some time, but time runs out quickly. On the Oracle side, so I wanted to give everybody a preview here. We are deploying Oracle backend financials, procurement, and expense management in June, July. Info sessions and demos are going to start over the next couple of months. So more to come here. We're also going to be doing some site testing of this tool. And this is just a quick preview into the training that is coming our way probably in the next couple of months. So a good amount of training for core accounting, about 8 to 10 hours. And then other support center and site leaders should see about 2 to 5 hours of training needs to get this up and running. So more to come here. You'll see more from our team. Please opt into some of the demos so that you can kind of learn more about the tool and what's coming up. So with that, I will hand it back to Ryan.
All right, thanks, Shane. Exciting stuff. Really looking forward to Serrated and Oracle. I know there's a ton of work being done by you and the team as well as the site. So thanks everyone for all your work there. So just want to take a minute to call out specifically the hospitals and the people who have helped address the challenges associated with the findings at the veterinarian blood bank. So all the hospitals that you see here have really stepped up to offer product or bring in on-call donors to source donations for impacted hospitals. I want to call out specifically the East End Hospital Director, Margaret McLaughlin. This was her direct quote: "We understand the critical nature of having immediate access to blood supplies. We want to extend our resources to others in our network." So thank you, Margaret. Thank you, East End team. Also, would like to thank the support center team members who have been instrumental in leading these efforts. There's been a ton of work going on behind the scenes. So Christy Cotter, Giselle Healy, Chrissy Giovanelli, Dr. Kristen Frank, thank you so much for all your work here. It's been a bit of a scramble, but you guys have been really keeping us organized, keeping us informed, and really helping address this issue. So our call to action, our biggest need right now, feline type A packed red blood cells. So please review your inventory for any product, short dated or otherwise, that you may be able to ship to an impacted hospital. And we're going to include contact information, the post-call material, so you know exactly what to do. So thank you to these hospitals. Thank you to everyone in advance that can help with this. It's just been a big challenge for us, and really appreciate it. This is the power of the network, helping each other out when you've got a situation in front of you. So thank you. Okay, so with that, we'll move on to Q&A, and Justin is going to lead us through this. You're going to have some of the Ethos leadership team members answer some of these questions. And thank you to those who submitted questions in advance. And Justin, I think this is like the first time it's ever happened where we've had a question that was just inadvertently answered already by someone unbeknownst to them during their presentation. So whoever asked the question, what is the mushroom capital of the world? That question has been answered by Shruti. It is Kennett Square, now you know, so we can cross that one off the list. And I'll turn it over to you to ask the other ones.
Excellent. That was actually submitted several times, so we can check that one off the list. Awesome. Thanks, Ryan. My name is Justin. I head up communications and brand, and I will, as Ryan mentioned, I'll MC the Q&A portion. Thanks in advance to everybody that submitted questions in advance. And if you have live questions, you can submit them now in the little Q&A button at the bottom of your Zoom screen. So we're going to just go ahead and get started. I'm going to be looking over here to look at the screen of the pre-submitted questions. And I'm going to start. I think this one will go to Shannon. NVA Compassion First, so Legacy NVACF, had previously shared that revamping our benefits packages to include maternity leave and other additional benefits was a focus. Is this still a priority now as we are now one Ethos?
Absolutely. We know to be an employer of choice, we must invest in our benefit offerings to ensure we recruit and retain the best possible talent. The investments, though, that we need to make around our 401k plans and cost sharing and parental leave programs are going to carry significant cost. And so we need to weigh those costs against other investments across the business. And this will take place every single year. So to accomplish this, we're going to be creating a multi-year benefit roadmap to address our gaps in current plans and improve our benefit offerings. So more to come on this. I know this is a hot topic for everyone, and I think I've gotten this question a lot during most of the times when I've spent time with teammates and employees. So I appreciate the questions, and I promise we're working on it.
Excellent. Thank you, Shannon. There are many more coming your direction, so stay tuned. Thank you. This next one, though, is going to go to Mr. Trey Neal. You're going to come off camera. We have a director of nursing, but no director of social work. This would help immensely in standardizing our practice across Ethos Network. Is there a plan for national social network representation? Trey?
Thanks, Justin. So what I'll start off by saying is we've definitely seen over the last few years a increase in the amount of social workers that we're seeing both in our hospitals and in veterinary medicine. And I'm proud to say I live in Knoxville, Tennessee, which is the university that actually accredits veterinary social workers. So with that being said, we don't have anything in the plans right now because while it has been growing, it is still a pretty small subset of hospitals within the larger Ethos organization. However, we'll continue to monitor that to be able to see ultimately where social work continues to go and how we can continue to support it. I also know that Tyler Narveson helps lead the social worker group as it is right now to be able to get the cohort together, to be able to share ideas with each other and be able to kind of brainstorm the way to best support our hospitals. So, I think that work will continue. And again, just be on the lookout to see where we go from here. And, just like we added with the director of nursing role, we're going to continue to make sure that we're supporting our hospitals in the best way possible.
Thank you, Trey. All right, Tyler Narveson, this next one's going to go to you. I have heard there are plans to implement another price increase later this summer. If this is true, what are the thoughts on pricing ourselves out of the market for those in a competitive market with so many choices?
Yeah, great question. Pricing is top of mind for everyone. I know this is a really challenging topic as of late. As you know, we're not the only ones dealing with pricing pressure. At a macroeconomic level, pricing and inflation continue to present challenges, along with ensuring we have a competitive and compelling wage strategy. We know that this continues and will continue to be something that we want to ensure we're keeping a close eye on and balancing the cost and access of care with ensuring we're able to operate a healthy hospital that has high quality medicine and where we're able to reinvest in our business. We're currently focused on analyzing the impact of the most recent price increases we did in January to incorporate those learnings into the future price increases, which is the one you mentioned. We hope to get better and better at having more data and analysis to really help drive our decisions and ensure that we're doing what's best for Ethos as well as our community. We're also going to continue to expand our available tools to understand what you're seeing at the hospital level. So more to come around future price increases in general. We are continuing to watch the price increases that did happen. Kudos to all of you that have continued to speak up and really keep a good pulse on your markets. Please continue to do that and share that with your field operations and medical operations teams. And we'll continue to monitor and work with those hospitals that feel there might be some pricing pressure. But again, it's definitely a challenge we're facing across the board. And we're trying to strike that balance of ensuring we're competitively priced that allows us to provide the highest quality of care and create a compelling employee value proposition for our teams while creating access of care.
Awesome. Thanks, Tyler. Appreciate that transparency. All right, Brandon, I'm going to come to you next. I have a couple. The first one came in live during the town hall. Can you clarify, it's regarding the national or the annual meeting. Can you clarify who from the hospitals would be invited to that meeting?
Yeah, sure, Justin. And first off, I should clarify that it's really the North America meeting because we're including the US as well as Canada in that. But two people will be receiving invites from each hospital, the HD and the medical director. And your field ops leaders can help with any specific questions that individual hospitals may have about that in their unique circumstances.
Awesome, thank you. We'll stick with you. And this one's about one of my favorite topics, GoFetch. Are we able to receive additional GoFetch training on topics regarding how to navigate the site, what to use it for, how to submit support tickets, etc.? Yeah,
this is one of my favorite topics too, Justin. So GoFetch is awesome. If any of you have not been on the site, please go check it out. The communication team is going to tackle this with a story in the February newsletter. And of course, you can also go and find content on GoFetch directly, but the newsletter is going to contain training videos, some tips, and how you can get the best results out of using the GoFetch platform. A lot of wonderful content there that we all need to make sure we're taking full advantage of.
My personal favorite thing to do is gofetch.com, make it your homepage. So whenever you open the internet, it's the thing that's always there. So it becomes sort of natural habit to get information. It'll become your favorite newspaper. All right, a question that is going to be split now between Shannon and Donna. And it's related to holiday schedules for support staff who sit in the field. So the first one for Shannon. What holiday schedule do field support employees follow? For example, specifically on-site HR.
Okay, for on-site HR. So on-site HR and the usually field HR managers and generalists are not currently a part of the support center under Ethos. So because of that, they should follow their specific site holiday and PTO schedules to ensure that they're meeting the needs of their hospital teams. If they cover multiple sites, they should follow the schedule where they are usually housed or where they spend their most time. But if an HR manager has a question regarding, specific concern to the holiday schedules or to the PTO at the current location, they should follow up with their HRBP, and we can take a look at those on a one-on-one basis to try and understand some of the concerns around that.
Awesome, thank you. And then the double click there for Donna. Similarly, when field support staff support multiple locations with different business entities, holiday schedules, handbook, etc., how is it determined which holiday schedule they should follow?
Great, thank you for the question. So we'll assume for this that we're talking about field and medical operations teams when we refer to field support. These teams do follow the support center holiday schedule, but given the urgent nature of a 24/7 medical business like our own, we understand there are times that we have to flex to meet the needs of the hospital. All of our hospitals should have escalation points if issues arise. So regardless of the time of day or a holiday, our field and medical operations team should be able to support them. We empower our field ops and medical operations people to manage their own schedules and balance the work-life alignment and meet the needs of their teams, which can include a rotating point of contact if one of them is on PTO.
Excellent. Thanks, Donna and Shannon. All right, I'm going to shift gears a little bit towards medical excellence. So if Dr. Kristen Frank is on, if you want to come off camera, this one's going to be for you. Can you share anything about medical excellence with the town hall participants? Any updates on the medical excellence front?
Absolutely. Thank you, Justin. So I'm very excited to be in this role. Developing culture of medical excellence in our teams is essential for us to reach the goals, the medical goals that we've been talking about, foster best practices within our hospital, ensure that we're delivering evidence-based care and enhancing our patient outcomes. In 2024, so far, we have launched the new product committee to evaluate and offer guidance on new medications along with educational material. We have our first meeting this Thursday, so stay tuned for more information coming out of that. We will be introducing a patient safety event reporting system along with a centralized medical standard operating procedure templates, which will initially focus on infectious diseases. And then we will be launching an infection prevention program this summer, as well as expanding our peer review case submissions. So far this year, we're just at February 13th. We've had 2 peer review cases submitted. And this Thursday, we're going to be looking at 4 new medications in the new product committee. So some really exciting stuff starting to come out.
Awesome, thank you. And more of that information is also in the new medical monthly newsletter. So be on the lookout for that as well. All right, money question. So this one's going to go to you, Meredith. How are the investors in Ethos handling the difference in the veterinary industry from their other holdings, which are all based on goods and not services? Are the profit margins expected to be the same? What are the goals for the investors in preserving the humanity of the profession?
Thanks, Justin, and that is a really great question. I think it's important to note that our investors, JAB Holdings Company, are invested in a number of different industries, industries such as consumer products. We all know they're both in coffee and sandwich shops, pet insurance, et cetera. Most of those are not really comparable to veterinary services and more specifically veterinary specialty and emergency hospitals. With that being said, JAB makes it a priority both before and during all of their investment holding periods to be very well versed in each of those industries, understand what market comps are, understand the specifics of the organizations that they are investing in and what they hope to help drive and grow within those organizations. And so while those aren't comparable to their other industries, they are very well versed in our specific industry, and more importantly, in what we are trying to do. And the profit margins that they are expecting are not based on those other investments that they hold, but more specific to what they are hoping Ethos can generate and do for the specialty and emergency segment of veterinary services. And I think to the second part of your question, we've been working on a strategic plan, and JAB has been a very big voice in that as we work to kind of drive where we want to go as a business. And I think they are completely 100% bought in to our strategic plan, which includes the investments that we have said are critical to our success and to the success of our teams, which include investments in our medical programs, residency and internship programs, Ethos Discovery and Medical Excellence, and a lot of the people initiatives that Shannon's been referencing. So our community team, learning and development, HRBPs, and investments in our people, such as benefits, et cetera. So I think they are extremely supportive and fully bought into those initiatives.
Great. Thank you, Meredith. We have just a few minutes left. Last reminder to submit any live questions, but we have two other pre-submitted questions, and they're both sort of HR benefits related. So Shannon, back to you. The first, can you comment if there is a risk of highly compensated individuals being unable to contribute full amounts to 401k now that we did not participate in Safe Harbor?
Okay, so the answer is yes. Since NVA is not a Safe Harbor plan, once the annual year-end non-discrimination testing is complete, we'll be provided a maximum deferral amount to highly compensated employees that can be used as an estimate for the following year. And so it was estimated that the contribution for 2023, as an example, would be approximately $13,500. We're going to go through testing here in another couple months, and anyone who contributes more than the maximum will receive a refund. So there'll be more to come on that, but that is one of the challenges with the Safe Harbor plan, is that it has to go through testing, and the maximums will change. So more to come on that, and we will keep you posted. And if you need to, I'll put a link in the chat of where you can actually hear a recording of a recent overview meeting to learn more about the 401k plan and the testing.
Fabulous, thank you. And in our last 3 minutes, our last question back to you, Shannon. Some doctors could not contribute full pre-tax amounts for dependent care in 2023 and had money returned. Can this be reinstated?
The answer is no. And similar to the 401k plan, the dependent care flexible spending account, requires that it does not discriminate in favor of highly compensated employees. So we did not pass the IRS required testing. So highly compensated employees' contributions were reduced to a certain threshold last year. And again, this is going to be an annual process, similar to what I talked about with the 401k. And the plans will be tested again in the next few months. So if you are going to be impacted for 2024, you will be notified directly.
Awesome, thank you. And thanks for everybody asking questions live and pre-submitting questions. These town halls are for us, so appreciate the questions in advance and the engagement. Ryan, back to you to close us out.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks to everyone here today. Really appreciate all the presenters. Certainly Justin, Christy, thanks for keeping us on task and helping with the materials. Another just shout out for feline type A packed red blood cells. Please scour your hospitals if you have them and you have some inventory that you can share. That'll be hugely helpful. And lastly, just congratulations on a great start. January, as Meredith mentioned, really, really great start. I know everybody's working super hard in the support center, in the hospitals, and just really, really appreciate it. So with that, we'll sign off. Happy Valentine's Day. Hopefully everyone has a wonderful day tomorrow, and enjoy the rest of your day today. Take care. Thank you.